From her work in espionage to the dark and almost unnerving secrets that loom behind her hidden organization, Evelyn Chevalier was created to become the perfect spy. However, the questions behind her childhood and how she became who she is lies buried in mystery. But first, my name is Sekai Samurai, and today we are showcasing one of the most hidden and shrouded character stories in all of Zenless Zone Zero. One that even today, we honestly could say that we know very little about. However, that won't stop us from digging into some insane theories, as well as doing a full showcase of Evelyn's story and growth as a person. Before we jump in, also make sure to check out my other deep dives, such as my recent Nicole story video that I just covered last week. As I promise, it won't make you cry, at least the first half. But anyways everyone, back to the video. Astra Yao is the star of the century. The flashing lights and the incredible aura that she has brought to the stage makes her one of the brightest characters to ever hit the spotlight. Her fashion career, her major acting roles, and of course, her record-shattering work has allowed her to be established as New Eridu's biggest star. However, through all of this, in the purest of shadows behind the curtain, lies plenty of enemies. At a young age, Evelyn would serve a rather harsh calling in life. Whether they had found her, an event was organized by her family, or even from the large stem theories of this being a targeted kidnapping, just as a small young woman, she would find herself taken into what we would know as the organization. Documents would reveal that this quote-unquote organization was indeed some sort of hidden, clandestine, intelligence operative network that would focus on dealing and operating out spy surveillance networks, and possibly underground contracts such as protection, stealth-focused combat, and as even vaguely implied, centralized assassinations. To become someone capable of this, you would have to become a human unable to sense empathy, to live another life where you will openly lie and become friends with the targets that you will one day betray, never knowing your hidden agendas. This was exactly what the organization would perform on Evelyn. Upon her arrival, her personality, her passions, and even her very identity would slowly be stripped, piece by piece, replacing her mind with that of someone who could handle precise covert attacks and help separate and scatter the human urges of wanting friendship, or really even affection. Not only would she endure severe trauma and heavy training upon her mental health, but her body would be viciously shaped and beaten. Still today, this side of her can still be found. With being underneath that long coat and concealing outfit lies several scars, and even lingering proof of injuries that she had endured. As she grew and was deemed operational, Evelyn would be seen as an absolute master at identity fraud. Much like characters such as Jane Doe, her job would force her into living the life of being someone else. Her mind would easily swing to fit the roles of, well, whoever she needed to be, growing into becoming a handful of different women that many targets would only meet for a fatally short amount of time. Such identities would include being a woman named Anna or Lily, and even co-named such as Flying Squirrel. She would use under-the-counter target acquisition to find who she was after by meeting up with clients in secure areas, where she would focus on brutal assignments such as killings designed to look clean or accidental, or even espionage that would be hidden under the veil of gaining trust with her assignments. Wow, so Sekai, you are basically telling me that Evelyn is an outright monster and totally cannot be close to being friendly as she likes to let on, right? Is that where this story's going? Okay, so hang on before you start to judge her. These targets were greatly concluded to normally be vicious criminals or outright horrible people, where she did in fact, even in her line of work, follow a strict moral compass on how she would maneuver through her case priorities. In fact, she had even ensured the safety of her dear friend Rain in the past, even if this was far from her original assignment, which can help us understand that even with her cold work life, Evelyn still will choose to do the right thing, though her career would absolutely change forever when one night Astra Yao's name would slide across that table. Her organization would choose Evelyn as a mole in a long-term sting operation to conduct a full-on espionage and scandal involving collecting information and the habits of both music artist Astra Yao and, more importantly, her record company Odeum HIE. Seeing Evelyn's strong poise and how she presented herself as the absolute perfect candidate to meet as Astra's newest bodyguard, and seeing her as a very unlikely problem due to her insanely high successful track record. Though not long into her mission, conflict would begin to grow within her. We don't know when exactly it could have started, but could it have been when she had noticed Astra's true personality? As she would firsthand see these impressive interviews, where she would find herself with her heart and mind freezing still as she listened to the wonderful words and thoughts that would pour out from this woman. Or could it have been those nights where, after one of Astra's big performances, where she could find the strong musician fall down on the floor, weeping and stressing severely about her own performances on stage, where she would spend the rest of that night soothing the nerves with food and cheerful conversation. Each of these moments would only bring more reasons to grow close with Astra. She would begin experiencing the subtle gifts of kindness, canceling events just so that she could spend time with her, or even the simplest of things such as a gentle check-in to make sure she was okay that day. For the first time in her life, the grueling pain of her training, the empty words said and exchanged to her in the past, her cold assignments, how others have felt about her, Evelyn would finally feel loved. The fall of her trust within her organization would come swiftly as these moments continued. Evelyn was living her life for once. She looked forward to Astra's performances and, even more so, the chats that would come afterwards. However, before she could even speak on her own terms, tension would explode at Odeum. Documents would release that not only was Evelyn a long-term operative and undercover spy, but even worse, she was working with the exact enemy that had threatened the company entirely. This organization we mentioned earlier was not just sending spy work, but actually involved with Fogue, a rival talent agency that had been begging to dig into Odeum's success for years, and has sent Evelyn to do the dirty work. Evelyn, of course, would break ties immediately after she got caught, and while she was outed out as a traitor, she would defend Astra at every turn, even leaking and casting Fogue's plan in the hands of public security for it to be handled correctly. But her ultimate test of loyalty would lie within her special episode, where shortly after these events had occurred, Evelyn would discover a coordinated assault that was planned to attack Astra. During the events, Evelyn would act in a moment of pure instinct, diving in and dueling the criminals head on, all in a quick action to protect Astra Yao. This would all cause massive hatred to fall on Fogue, not only in the entertainment industry, but even landing a case in the hands of law enforcement. As Eve would heal up, these case files would make their way for a massive run with public security, which she would happily watch the news unfold by recovering away in bed, while Astra made breakfast in the other room, with a friendship so bright that it will never burn out. And that is Evelyn. Man, what a badass character, seriously. However, even now, some things are still mysterious. She still gets messages every now and then, though not knowing exactly from who, she does quickly cover them away when asked about them. Some lore theories point out that she could be funneling bits of information or even still actively participating in spy work whenever she's not on the screen, as her overall organization and those mysterious people that were behind everything are absolutely still out there, regardless if she's employed or not. But what do you think of all of this? Guys, leave your theories down below. I totally want to hear all of your thoughts on this. And if you made it this far, why not become a samurai today and hit that subscribe button? Every week, we roll up massive lore deep dives just like this one. If you still want to chat, make sure to slide by our Discord as well, with hundreds of active members, art sections, and lore discussions. But anyways, guys, I shall see you all out in the hollow. Sekai out.